Well, the challenges are also not something we should brush aside. You know, energy level. I will tell you that when I look across my teams, the older ones will not have the same energy level as the younger ones. Although the younger ones will come later, they can work through the evening and they're still typing away at 11 p.m. The older ones are already in bed. So you have to look at different energy cycles, you know. Some are a lot more competent and a lot more active, a lot more contributing in the morning. Some are not morning people. Some will swagger into the office 10 o'clock with a Starbucks coffee mug and already start thinking what they will have for lunch. So you have to appreciate and manage the energy levels of the two groups. And so you find that common space where both are still energetic. All right. And I think there's no standard solution, but there's a need to appreciate and understanding the energy level of different groups and see when is the best time to bring them together. Some will not contribute face to face, but they'll drop you an email, and then it's up to you to float the idea across, right? Because some are quite reserved. Some works better not in a big room. When you put them in small groups, somehow they flourish, right? They don't like to stand in front of everybody and do a proper presentation, but you let them work unofficially in smaller groups, you find that they are more open with suggestions, they are more bold, they are more courageous. So I think, yes, appreciate the different energy levels, all right? It's a challenge. I do not wish to brush it aside. The other challenge is that of understanding how people react to different ideas, all right? I give you an example. If the leader is an older leader, a more experienced leader, the response of multi-generation teams to this leader is very different. The older ones will be prepared to spar with this leader because they got lots of experience, right? The younger ones will sometimes give due respect, whether it's cursory respect or whether it's paper respect, you know. So the reactions are different. So you need to understand what will bring out the best response. And my solution really is to do very good feedback. Or in the military, we have been trained to do after action review, or AAR. After action review means after the event, after an opening ceremony, after a launch of a new cruise ship, you sit down and everybody has a chance to speak about what was good with the event, what was not so good. And if it's not so good, what can we do to improve? Now that's what the military started as after action review, AAR. So you don't talk about the good things that, wow, let's celebrate, we did well, you know, we are on time, you know, and then we not waste any food, you know, the VIP was happy, you know, but you also talk about things that didn't go well and why. But you don't stop at why it didn't go well. What can we do better to improve it? So it's not witch hunting, it's not blame game, but basically how can we do better? Now the process is very different for the younger ones and the older employees. You may have to think of the best platform for people to be prepared to share. Because some people are not prepared to share openly, right? So I think this is important to appreciate how different age groups react and respond to the leader. And the leader has to be very sensitive to how young people think, how young people respond, and how old people think and how old people respond. Old people are generally older employees are generally conscious of losing face, you know. Oh, I've got so much experience and then suddenly I look bad, you know. So yes, they are more careful because they don't want to lose face in front of young people, right? Young people will speak their mind. They will speak their mind even though it's spontaneous, not coherently thought through, but they'll let go, you know. And so as the leader, you need to deal with these different constituents quite carefully, all right, to make sure that there is a sense of psychological safety in the group. I think we have to recognize that increasingly many people will look at the leader and see whether the leader has created that safe space or psychological safety where I can say something, but you don't hold it against me. I can say something and you don't mark me down for the annual appraisal, you know. And then that is psychological safety. What I say stays in this room. It's not shared with another team. And then there is a sense of trust that I know there is no sense of bad mouthing, gossiping. It stays there. Now, if the leader can demonstrate confidentiality and make sure that everybody in the team keeps confidentiality, you create that psychological safety, and then you will overcome the challenge of people being more careful, more self-restrained in giving feedback. And so I think these are some of the challenges that the leaders have to be quite sensitive to. Well, the word emotional intelligence is quite different from EQ. We have IQ, EQ, and then there's another thing called AQ, adversarial quotient. And that means I can deal with adversity, I can bounce back. Emotional intelligence is slightly different from EQ. EQ generally means we have good social skills. We are sensitive towards people, right? We don't want to point people out in a big room, right? So we have good people skills. We know how people will react emotionally. But the emotional intelligence of the team is slightly different. The emotional intelligence of a team, I will loosely define it as the ability of the team to respect each other's emotions. Why is so and so upset in that meeting? Why is so and so completely muzzled up, not speaking at all? You can see, not happy, something in the heart but don't want to voice, So you need to watch the emotions of every individual. In fact, not just the leader, but everybody is watching each other's emotions. Is there laughter in the room? Is there a bit of bantering, small talk? Now, if all those things happen, then I would say that the emotional intelligence of the team is high. That means people can deal with emotions. People can talk about emotions. People can say, I'm very upset. I don't know why the CFO said something, about cost cutting. So I talk about it. And when I talk about it, I know that people will not judge me. People will not judge me for what I said as a gripe. This guy is always complaining. It's a gripe. No, I think we allow a certain level of emotions to be put on the table or to be expressed or articulated. But it's also important for the leader to manage these emotions. So, it is not a functional meeting. It's not a meeting where, okay, let's do this. What do you think? Shall we proceed with option A, B, C? I think it's more than that. Let me give you another example. When I have to make very difficult decisions, that probably is not a majority. That means in the room there are 8 of us, only 2 are in favor of what I supported. Plus me, only 3 out of 8. Or worse, only one person supported my idea out of the 8. And I have to make a tough call. I will want to go round to everybody and say, what do you think? If I'm going to go on this, even though you don't support, how would you feel? How would you feel? I allow them to express their emotion. They said, Lawrence, actually, I don't think you should do this, because if you do this, I will be very disappointed. You allow that to come out. And when people can say things in front of the leader and not go behind what's at chat group, and Lawrence is not in that chat group, then the team don't have emotional intelligence. So it's slightly different from EQ, where one-on-one, you know how to manage each other's sensitivities. But here we're talking about the emotional intelligence collectively of the team, where emotions can be brought up, where the leader know how to manage the emotions, and also after the meeting, if you feel that so-and-so is out of line, then I think there will be a need for a one-on-one. And if the leader is wrong, the leader should apologize, all right? And of course, the leader should also apologize, not just one-on-one, but in a big group. Now, if the leader can apologize in the big group for a lousy or a bad decision, the emotional intelligence of the team goes up. I mean, that's my experience. It's not like, okay, the leader says so, it will be so, all right? We'll go and do this and it will be done. I mean, you can do that in the army. But out there in the private sector, out there in the industry, when everybody has a brain, they will react. If it is not a group decision, not supported by the group, and worse, it is supported by the minority, and they want to know what is the trade-off, right? Why, despite the majority views, the leader choose to do otherwise? One of the wisdom, I think, is to delay the decision. Acknowledge that, well, I hear all of you. Most of you are not in agreement. Let me go back and reflect. Let me discuss with my big boss, and then we have another round of discussion. Delay the decision. Now, I think it's not a bad idea, because you are now recognizing that everybody has said their piece. Everybody was allowed to say something different. The emotional intelligence of the team goes up. Let me give another illustration. The emotional intelligence of the team is a function of the relationship of people in the team, and not one-on-one. Because some of us will have our favorite co-laborer, co-worker, our so-called buddy, hang out with him for lunch, go and see show with this same colleague, travel together to Hong Kong, It's not that. I think I'm talking about the relationship as a team. The collective relationship, or the glue that somehow connects them so that they look forward to coming together as a team. There's a sense of joy. I like to go to work because I'm going to see my friend, I'm going to see my buddy, So I always believe that people stay in an organization not because of the band and com, not how much they're paid, not just the purpose of the work, the high calling of the work, or not the brand of the company, right? Okay, I work for Microsoft, I work for Google, I work for Amazon. No, it's not just those things alone. I recognize band and com, very important. I recognize that the brand of the company is very important. I recognize that the high calling and purpose of the job is very important. But I think let's not underestimate the fact that I come to work, I'm happy because I have a good buddy. I belong to a good team. I have people watching my back, So when I was in the military, we know we have a term that somebody is watching our back. Somebody is watching our back, so I'm prepared to do all I can, because if I'm injured, if I'm a casualty, I will not be left behind. Now, when that happens, the emotional intelligence of the team becomes so powerful. It's almost like a multiplier that I think sometimes we underestimate. So, in my experience, in my company, I would like people to, hang out after work, spend time going for drinks. In fact, every fortnight on a Friday, every month, 2 Fridays, we'll be out for drinks. And of course, we have a rule. If you are drinking, you're not allowed to drive. So we have a designated driver. Every 4 person, one will be designated driver, cannot drink alcohol. Please go and drink something else. And then we have a crazy time together. And I think when teams are able to look beyond just work, when they are relating each other so well, the collaboration is amazing. It's amazing. So, I mean, there are many components of the emotional intelligence of a team, but really is to respect and recognize people's emotion. There will always be a chance for them to let go, and say things that they are not happy. So that it's not muzzle up, it's not bottle up. And then when they leave the meeting room, they start texting, you realize that when that happens, you move into what we call a toxic culture, especially when the boss is not in the chat group. We're all talking about the boss, And so this is something I learned, making sure that people have ability to relate, because when they relate, they will naturally collaborate. They will say, okay, let's do this together. I think we can make it. I think we can conquer the world, We can deliver the night race. I think that was what I focused a lot when I hired the team to do Formula One. They're all young people. The average age of the team I hired, not counting myself, because if I put myself in, I'll be an outlier, was 29 years old. 29 years old was the average age. I had one fresh graduate from the university. 23 years old, right? And if not for him, the average age would be very different, right? So the first thing I did within the 2 months was to bring them up, travel, see Formula One races in other cities, travel together, go for evening run, change into running gear, go and run, and start to do things outdoor, because the night race requires us to be outdoor at the race circuit at night. So we started doing a lot of things outdoor at night to create that rhythm, and frankly, everybody was not married except for me and one staff. So they had a lot of time, no problem to hang out, except the young man who was married, thankfully had no kids. And then I had 3 kids already. So we do things together. We bonded very well. And I will rate the F1 team that I had the privilege to lead as one of the strongest, emotionally intelligent team I had. Until today, which is almost 20 years since we came together, we meet twice a year. We still meet twice a year, although we are no longer doing Formula One. So that's emotional intelligence.